What's up, everybody? Welcome to SLC Puck. I'm your host, Austin Facer, and I've got exciting news for you guys. From this date, I'm recording on July 16th around 8:12 p.m., which means I'm guessing a lot of you will be listening to this tomorrow, July 17th, whenever, in the morning, at lunch, in the afternoon, whenever you need an escape from your day. That's what we're here for. I have good news. The Utah Mammoth schedule has been released. They did so in a very fun way, a very Utah influencer-coded way. This sort of spoofed the mom talk culture that we've come to know and love. Made famous on a great show. I say great because it's absolutely enthralling. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. By the way, the video the Utah Mammoth made for the schedule release, a lot of fun. And I'm going to get more into this in a second. Let me just remind you guys, you're listening to SLC Puck, independent Utah hockey podcast twice a week. Great way to support the show if you like what you're hearing, and I'm hoping you do. Go to slcpuck.shop. I got a lot of great merch. BigTuskEnergy.com, another way to get there. Limited time founding herd sale. I'm going to end this soon just to close the gate on this a little bit. Everything's $25 or less on BigTuskEnergy.com, so check that out. But anyway, like I was saying, a fun little influencer-coded video that was used to release the schedule. And, you know, it's something that, like, a lot of sports teams have been doing in recent years, is kind of releasing their schedules in a fun, jovial, sarcastic, sort of ribbing the other team sort of way. You know, like the Los Angeles Chargers and the NFL are probably the best at this, I would say, which fills me with a lot of pride because I'm an alumni of the Los Angeles Chargers digital department. Maybe I'll get into that more at some point. But anyway, the idea is, you know, you just make like a fun video. You kind of, you know, pay homage to your local culture, perhaps. Buffalo Sabres did their schedule using wings, right? If that tells you anything. Utah, you know, we used mommy influencer culture to release the video. So of course Swig was involved, you know, running with your stroller through Sugar House Park, and weirdly you didn't see me skating in the background. I go skating around Sugar House Park like every frickin' day, but you know, I guess I missed them when they were there. All the other, you know, lots of other great tributes to Utah culture. And again, it reminded me a lot of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And I wonder, you know, and the actress, by the way, influencer, I'm not sure who it was who did the video. She did a terrific job, so I'm not trying to take anything away from her. I wonder, though, if they reached out to Taylor Frankie Paul to do this. Like, that would have been through the roof. I mean, it was a great video, but like had I seen her do that video, I think my head would have literally exploded. I don't know if you've seen this, and this is a hockey podcast, by the way, folks. I don't know if you've seen that show, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's freaking if I said fricking and freaking at the same time, it's absolutely ludicrous. It's like the craziest show I've ever seen. I can't believe that these people roam our communities behaving this way. It's just, and it's been so normalized now. Like, it just makes me even more terrified to be a single, adult and like realize this is my dating pool that I'm in a little bit. So that's horrifying, but wildly entertaining. But again, like, I thought the Mammoth released their schedule in a really fun way. So it's out. We have we can count down now officially how many days. I've got the countdown now. Again, recording this on July 16th. You might be listening to this on July 17th, but from now to the first preseason game on the 21st, which is not at home. By the way, it's against the Colorado Avalanche. That one is not the one in Boise. That one is later in the month. September 21st, 67 days to go from now. Again, the 16th of July. And then to the first game at the newly renovated Delta Center on October 2nd, preseason action against the Los Angeles Kings. We're now 78 days out, or 77 if you're listening to this on the 17th of July. And then the regular season opener at Colorado on the road against a Central Division foe, regional rival, October 9th at Colorado, 85 days from today, 84 days from the day you probably are listening to this, the 17th of July. And then the big one, the home opener, regular season, newly renovated Delta Center, towels on the seats, probably t-shirts, I would imagine, maybe a whiteout component. The Utah Mammoth officially take the ice as the Mammoth for the first time ever. October 15th. We've got to wait a few days. Thank you very much, Benson Boone, for occupying the building for 3 nights. By the way, and again, this is a hockey podcast, but I'm going to go on some tangents here. Do we need 3 nights of Benson Boone at the Delta Center? I don't think so. The tickets are very expensive. I mean, I get that Benson Boone, good artist. I can name one song of his, right? This beautiful. How does it go? It's beautiful something, right? And sorry, I know. Listen, I'm not going to get raked over the coals on this one. Moonbeam Ice Cream, another one which I can't sing for you right now, but that's a name I'm hearing of, is a song of his. He's taken up 3 nights at the Delta Center, which is going to push the home opener back to the 15th after Utah's already played a few games on the road. 3 to be exact. So the 15th against Calgary's home opener. T-shirts on the seats, as I said, waiting for everybody in the stands. The tickets for all these great matchups are going to go on sale tomorrow, the 17th, the day which you might be listening to this. So we'll keep an eye on how prices shake out once they hit SeatGeek, resellers do their thing. I'm sure season ticket holders have already gotten their emails on this. We've seen some pictures of what the seating arrangement is going to look like. The lower bowl has been filled out quite a bit, so it's very exciting. The countdown's official. I mean, it's so exciting to consider what's going to happen. Again, we're about 90 days out, but a lot can happen in 90 days. I'll tell you that. You just ask Michael Carcone, because it was about 90 days ago exactly today that he stated that he would not be returning to the Utah Hockey Club, and sure enough, he is. So just ask Michael Carcone what can change in 90 days, and he'll tell you quite a bit. And we'll get more into that in just a little bit. But let's just break down the schedule here a little bit, guys. Just some interesting notes, some facts and figures that I came up with. Again, Utah not going to be at home. They'll start the season with 3 straight contests on the road: Colorado, Nashville, and Chicago, and then Calgary at home on the 15th of October. A 4-game home stretch to start the year after that. Calgary, San Jose on the 17th. The Holy War, Mike Folter reminded me about this, is actually going to take place that weekend as well. BYU, Utah football, October 18th. And then the Mammoth are back on the ice on the 19th to take on the Boston Bruins. So great weekend of sporting here in the Beehive State. And then on the, looks like, kind of small print here, the 21st, they'll play Colorado at home to wrap up that homestand. Some other games of note and some other interesting things that I've realized. Again, this schedule is very front-loaded with road games, which means it'll be very back-loaded with home games. And I think that could be very crucial for the Utah Mammoth, especially as they come down the home stretch and push for the playoffs there like they did last season, made it very competitive through about 78 games. So we're hoping Utah will be in the mix for the playoffs this season. And it certainly is going to help that they're going to have a lot of games at home with a rockin' Delta Center, a lower bowl that'll be completely filled out. And again, towels and shirts and maybe some influencers in the crowd. Maybe Taylor Frankie Paul will show up to one of those games. I think that would really inspire the boys to give a strong performance. We'll see. They'll have 10 of their last 13 at home to wrap up the season. Some more notes. The Olympics are going to break up the season in a big way. The Olympic break kicks off on February 6th and runs through the 22nd. That month in February, somewhat interesting to note, the Mammoth don't play a single road game that month because they only play 4 games, and they all happen to be at home. Again, more interesting notes here. The last year, because they're in different division, Vegas and Edmonton, we only saw each of them once at the Delta Center last year. We're getting both of those. And if I'm wrong about that, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. We'll get them both twice at the Delta Center this year. Vegas is going to be here November 20th, November 24th. So those are going to be probably a split crowd, I would imagine, at the Delta Center. Plenty of Vegas Golden Knights fans in the area. I see that frickin' logo all over the place on people's hats and whatnot. Edmonton, reigning Western Conference champions last 2 seasons. They'll be here twice as well, March 24th and April 7th. We'll go through some more notable dates here, right? So October 15th against Calgary, that's the home opener. I have that as a notable date. The next game, the 17th against the San Jose Sharks, I think could be an interesting one. I think San Jose is going to be a big rival for this team in years to come. I think they're on a similar trajectory. Utah might be a couple steps ahead of them, but San Jose, obviously they had Macklin Celebrini, who they selected with the first overall pick last season. This last NHL draft, they picked second and took Michael Misa, who the Utah Mammoth were reportedly very interested in acquiring. They stayed at 4 and picked Caleb Denoyer, as we all know. But I think San Jose is going to be a very interesting matchup for Utah in years to come. We saw San Jose play Utah very well last year. I believe Utah gave up a 4-1 lead in the third period of a game against San Jose last season and went on to lose that game in overtime. That was a very costly defeat. San Jose, since they finished with one of the worst records in the NHL, they picked second in the draft. So that was a bad loss for Utah. But again, I think those games are going to be really interesting to watch. Another notable game coming down the pipe here. This will be one. This is one for the donors. I think we'll see a lot of cans of summer Red Bull, should those be preserved until then. Maybe we'll see a lot of fun posters and a lot of, memorable tributes to the fan favorites who were shipped out for JJ Peterka, Michael Kesselring, and Josh Stone. They'll be making their return to the Delta Center on November 14th. So when Buffalo plays the Mammoth here, I think that'll be an interesting one. Again, the 2 Vegas Golden Knights appearances that month as well. And the 20th and 24th are pretty interesting. On the 10th, we'll host the Florida Panthers, reigning Stanley Cup champions. And yes, my offer still stands. Matthew Tkachuk, I will take you and the team to Chuckarama for a great meal when you guys come in, so you guys will understand what you missed out on the first time. Again, that's my theory. That's the place that I think that they eschewed when they were in town. Did I say eschewed? Is that the correct usage of eschewed? It feels like it, right? You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Hey guys, let me interrupt real quick. I just want to remind you that we have this incredible giveaway that we've been doing for quite a while now with Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers and Jonathan's Jewelry. It's unbelievable. It's out of sight. You're never going to see a giveaway like this. It's the easiest sweepstakes you'll ever be a part of. All you got to do is scan this QR code right here. You'll be prompted to send a message to enter into a raffle for a $250 gift card. And hey, what's best, even if you don't win, you can still take advantage of our wonderful partnership by going to either one of these locations: Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers at Charlie Square, Jonathan's Jewelry up in Cottonwood Heights. Just mention SLC Puck. They'll knock $100 off your purchase. So big thanks to Payne Anthony Creative Jewelers and Jonathan's Jewelry for their support of SLC Puck and Utah hockey fans alike. And let's get back to the show. Again, back to more notable dates. March 24th, Edmonton's here. They're here again on April 7th. And then we're wrapping up the season much the same way we did this last season, with a home tilt against the St. Louis Blues. We're on the road to face St. Louis last year to end the year, but we'll have them at home this year on April 16th in our last game before hopefully a little playoff run for the Utah Mammoth. Again, more interesting notes on the schedule. I've got it pulled up right here on UtahMammoth.com. Just taking a cursory glance at it. Some things that jump out to me: a lot of back-to-backs on the road, which I think is always a little concerning when you look at on the surface. I mean, none of these trips are like super long overnight in terms of which city to the next they go to. But you do kind of worry about the toll that could take on a team, getting beat up, then getting, on the plane, getting checked into a hotel, probably having a light morning skate, if any, and then getting on the ice again, less than 24 hours later in a different city. So those are ones to keep an eye on, to take note of. November, they go from Buffalo to Toronto on a back-to-back, then Anaheim to San Jose, then Dallas to St. Louis. Interestingly, it doesn't look like there are any home-to-home back-to-backs that I see. Again, December, Calgary to Vancouver, the other way. Vancouver to Calgary is a back-to-back. Boston to Detroit, that might be one of the longer ones. In January, we have Tampa Bay to Florida. February, none. Obviously, the Olympics are a big part of that. March, we'll have Chicago to Minnesota. And then the one that's road to home is Vegas, then back up here to Salt Lake to play the Anaheim Ducks. And then there are no back-to-backs in April to finish out the year. So something to make note of there. If you ask my pal Tyson Nash, who's been killing it on Nashcast with my other homie Mike Folta, he'll tell you like back-to-backs are super overblown. It's talked. Players don't care. They like playing. If they're used to coming up like in juniors or been playing their whole lives, they're used to playing a game the next day or multiple games. So he feels like that's an overblown thing. I don't know if players nowadays feel that way. Tyson's 50 years old. He's very spry. He's very light on his feet, but it might be a little different for this generation. We live in an era of load management in the NBA. Could that make its way to the NHL? I can't imagine, but you never know. But again, that is something to make note of. Again, interesting, home and home back-to-backs. I think that's kind of an interesting schedule quirk. But again, the schedule's here. It's interesting to look at and kind of realize, like, it's hard to tell, like, where the winning streaks might be because, you look around the National Hockey League, you kind of get the feeling that basically every team has made strides and improvement. It's hard to tell which teams are in a rebuilding phase. There might be no teams in a rebuilding phase right now. I think you could argue that basically every NHL team right now is making strides in a progressive, let's improve kind of direction. If you guys disagree, obviously drop that in the comments and we'll address that as it comes in. But again, I think it's you look at the schedule and you go, all right, no nights off. Everything, you can lose any game, you can win any game. The NHL has a lot of parity, as we saw last year, which is interesting to note, even though the Stanley Cup champion has been the same the last 2 years, and that team has also played in the final the last three. But the regular season, anything can happen. I think we saw Utah beat teams they probably shouldn't have, and lose games to teams they shouldn't have lost to as well. As I said, they lost games to San Jose and Anaheim. They also lost, a game down the stretch to Nashville. St. Louis went on a tear last year. I think they won 13 straight to finish the year. So it's you just never know until the game starts, until the puck drops. And as I was saying, Michael Carcone could attest to knowing how much things can change in about 90 days more than anybody, because it was almost exactly from the day he re-signed with the Mammoth, which was Tuesday. It was almost exactly 90 days previous that he said this to our buddy Brogan Houston of the Desert News.
Yeah, I mean, I love the guys in there, great group. I don't think that's going to be the answer, though. I don't think we're going to agree on anything. I spoke to the coaching staff and management, and I think we're going to go in a different direction.
Where does this come from? Like, what are you looking for?
On my end, consistency mostly, with just playing time. We have a really talented group here, and it just didn't work out. It happens. So, yeah.
Well, alrighty. That was April 17th. Yeah, Michael Carcone says definitively, I'm not coming back. And that didn't end up being the case. He's coming back. So it would appear that perhaps, the free agent market wasn't necessarily what Carcone was hoping for out there. Didn't draw the interest that he may have been looking for. Note that he's only 5'9", little guy. That's not to say that's a little bit smaller, I think, compared to what the team is wanting to do. I think we saw him fall out of the lineup kind of the same way the other small forward, Matias Michelli kind of fell out of the lineup. The year before in Arizona, Carcone was fantastic. He had 21 goals, 29 assists for 60 points in 74 games played. By my math, That's a .81 point per game percentage, so nearly a point per game there. Huge drop off this last year in Utah. Just 7 goals, 19 assists, 26 points in 53 games played. Lots of healthy scratches. So a little less than a point per game production. So big dip there. But again, it looks like he wasn't yielding the kind of offers he was expecting. So he's going to take a league minimum deal with Utah. He's the fastest guy on the team, which is something that was spoken of highly by his teammates on a mini mic. Who would be the best speed skater, I believe was the question. And the answer was almost unanimously Michael Carcone. And also, I celebrate this because we'll be getting the return of some very, very fun content. We talked about, sorry, that was me scrubbing there in the background. We talked about this a little bit at the start of last season. And this might be emotional for some of the donors to be watching right now. Hello, donors, by the way. You can see here's little Michael Carcone squaring up against Michael Kesselring, giving him the business. Shots to the hip, shots to the spleen. You love it. You love to see it. He's a feisty one. Carcone's a feisty one as well. He had, that scrap against the Carolina Hurricanes that kicked off that 11-minute penalty kill that Utah had to accomplish to win that game. That was the Veggie coming out party 49 saves game. So, interesting. I mean, again, so we're here. The schedule's out. We can start planning accordingly. We can start making dates. We can bro dates could be a thing. Ladies' night out might definitely be a thing, especially on November 14th against Buffalo. Schedule's here. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments what you think, what game you have circled on your calendar and why. If you're listening to me on Apple or Spotify, thank you. I appreciate that. You can always switch over to YouTube for look at my pretty face if you so choose. But schedule's here. It makes it real. It makes it fun. And I'm excited. We're going to see, I think, a lot more. The anticipation is going to build more and more. I think we'll see more Mammoth presence on all the billboards. I bet we'll see more Tusks Up, imagery on the freeway, bridges, all that kind of stuff. Mammoth Week is coming up. I'll be a part of that. Like I said, I help out with the youth program with Utah Mammoth. So I'll be working a few of those events all over the state. I'm not sure which ones I'll be at. I know they asked me to sign up for a few. I guess we'll just see how that shakes out. But I had a youth session today at the Oval, and gosh, it's so fun to watch the kids and see how much they improve so quickly. We're starting to move into like a place where I'm like, man, these kids, a lot of them who had maybe never been on the ice before, should probably think about finding a nice little house league team to join for the fall. So hockey is in full swing. I think it's going to get even more community involved when the practice facility, when the rinks open up at the Southtown Mall. Team is going to move in there in September. Opens up to the wider general public in February. So that's again another date to look forward to when we get that formally announced. But schedule's out, guys. It's real. It's happening. The Mammoth will roam the earth once more. The only thing that was missing from today's excitement was Taylor Frankie Paul. So we appreciate her wherever she is. We love her good work. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Follow SLC Puck on all the social media platforms. When you're not scrolling through Taylor Frankie Paul content, you can scroll through my content as well. Discord is open as well. That's a lot of fun. Link should be in my bio and anywhere you find my stuff. So we'll do a raffle when we get to 100 members on Discord. So look forward to that. Sign up. You might be a winner. And that's it for today. We'll talk to you guys soon.